In a move that surprised many, Ukrainian forces have launched an offensive into Russia's Kursk region. This represents a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict. It marks a shift from defensive operations to a more assertive strategy by Ukraine. The offensive is not merely symbolic, it involves a substantial commitment of troops and armored vehicles. The goal is clear: to exploit weaknesses in Russian defenses and liberate occupied territories. This operation follows weeks of escalating attacks on Russian logistics and infrastructure. The timing appears deliberate. It coincides with the arrival of advanced Western weaponry. It also exploits a perceived lull in Russian operations. The Ukrainian government is optimistic. They view this offensive as a decisive step towards victory. They aim to liberate their land and crush Russian morale. Early reports indicate significant Ukrainian gains. Several villages and strategically important high grounds are now under Ukrainian control. The Russian Ministry of Defense has acknowledged the offensive. However, they downplay its significance, claiming successful repelling actions. Independent sources and satellite imagery tell a different story. They suggest a more substantial Ukrainian breakthrough than Moscow admits. The composition of the Ukrainian forces involved in the Kursk offensive is noteworthy. Unlike previous operations, this force is equipped with a greater proportion of Western-provided equipment. This includes tanks like the Leopard 2 and Challenger 2, as well as advanced artillery systems. Additionally, the integration of Western training and doctrines is evident in their operational planning and execution. This modernized and well-equipped force represents a significant departure from the Ukrainian units that were initially deployed at the beginning of the conflict. The presence of such a force in the Kursk offensive underscores the West's increasing military support for Ukraine. It also highlights the growing capabilities of the Ukrainian armed forces. The use of combined arms warfare, incorporating infantry, armor, artillery, and air power, has also been a hallmark of this offensive. This sophisticated approach, honed through months of intense fighting and Western training, allows the Ukrainians to maximize their combat power against a numerically superior enemy. The success of this approach could have lasting implications for the future of the conflict. The Ukrainian offensive into Kursk is driven by several key objectives. First, it aims to disrupt Russian logistics and command and control. By striking deep into Russian territory, Ukrainian forces can pressure Russian supply lines and force them to divert resources from other areas of the front. This disruption has the potential to slow down Russian offensives elsewhere and create opportunities for Ukrainian counterattacks. Second, the offensive seeks to demoralize Russian forces and undermine public support for the war. By taking the fight to Russian soil, Ukraine aims to demonstrate the failings of the Russian military and shake the confidence of the Russian populace in their leadership's ability to achieve victory. Third, the operation serves to bolster Ukrainian morale and international support. The offensive demonstrates Ukraine's resolve to defend its territory and its capacity to take the initiative against the invading forces. This sends a powerful message to both the Ukrainian people and their international partners, reinforcing the narrative of Ukrainian resistance and determination. Section 4. The Fog of War. Assessing the situation in Kursk. The situation in Kursk remains fluid and contested. While initial reports suggested a rapid Ukrainian advance, the situation has become more complex. Russian forces, after being caught off guard, are now offering stiff resistance. They are deploying reinforcements and launching counterattacks in an attempt to regain lost ground. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims to have repelled Ukrainian attacks and inflicted heavy casualties. However, independent verification of these claims remains difficult due to the ongoing fighting and limited access to the region. The coming days will be critical in determining the trajectory of the battle for Kursk. Despite the fog of war, it is clear that the Ukrainian offensive has disrupted Russian plans and forced them into a reactive posture. The intensity of the fighting and the commitment of reserves by both sides suggest that the battle for Kursk is far from over. Section 5. The world reacts. International response to the offensive. The international community is closely watching the events in Kursk. Reactions to the Ukrainian offensive have been mixed. Western governments, while reaffirming their support for Ukraine's right to defend its territory, have expressed concern about the potential for escalation. NATO has reiterated its policy of providing military aid to Ukraine, but has ruled out direct intervention. U.S. officials have stated that they support Ukraine's right to decide how and where to conduct its military operations within its own territory. However, they have also emphasized the importance of avoiding actions that could escalate the conflict with Russia. European leaders have echoed these sentiments, calling for restraint and urging both sides to seek a peaceful resolution to the conflict. They have also reiterated their commitment to supporting Ukraine through diplomatic and humanitarian channels. Section 6. A strategic shift, implications and potential turning points. The Ukrainian offensive into Kursk has the potential to be a turning point in the war. It demonstrates a shift in Ukraine's strategic posture from defense to offense. This is a clear signal that Ukraine is no longer content with simply holding ground, but is actively seeking to liberate its occupied territories. The offensive also highlights the changing military balance of power. The success of Ukrainian forces equipped with Western weapons and employing modern military doctrines against a numerically superior Russian army suggests that the technological gap between the two militaries is narrowing. However, it is crucial to avoid overstating the significance of the Kursk offensive. The conflict remains far from over. Russia still possesses significant military capabilities and is likely to escalate its efforts in response to the Ukrainian offensive. The coming months will be critical in determining the long-term impact of this operation and its implications for the future of the war in Ukraine.